Hi, I'm Gary Jenkins, and welcome to the Beauty of Oil Painting. Today, something a little bit different. I'm going to paint a swan, this is really just a nice, calm scene, like you were just walking along, and all of a sudden, between all the reeds and tall grass, there was a swan. So this is what we're going to do today. Let's take a look at the canvas. I know I have some of it started, because you guys know I only have a short time up here. But let me run through what I have. The background is acrylic, and this is mauve with a touch of white. And then as I came down with these horizontal strokes, I put a little more white, so I got this feeling of a little bit of wave action in here, a little bit of the mauve and white down here, and I've laid in the tall grass just to get it started with acrylic. Now this is dry up here, and what I'm going to do is going to take a towel. Now I have some medium on the side here. You won't see me dipping into it, but I will be from time to time, and also some odorless thinner over just outside of the camera. I'm going to dip into my medium, and using a paper towel, I'm going to put this medium on, and you kind of have to look at it from an angle. I'm not going to put any on the swan, just in the background, and this will help my grass, my nice, long, graceful strokes to flow along. Now here we have the swan, and you put a pattern on, and what you need to do is you can take some gesso, or if you're over in Europe, it's called gesso, or you can use some white acrylic. After your pattern is on, just fill this in with your white acrylic or gesso. Then I've taken my little round sable brush with some acrylic, and I painted in just a little bit of indicating the eye. They all have a little bulge right here. And then coming down to the little beak, which I will put in a minute. This is good old oil paint. I forget to tell you, but that's what it is. Yellow and orange. And I'm going to put my hand on the canvas to steady it. And I'm just going to put just a touch, just sort of a hint in there. You can see it doesn't take too much, but we'll take a little more yellow, and we're going to put just a touch of that in here. In case you guys are wondering just how you're going to get this little swan on the canvas, the pattern, I promise, will be in the book. So don't worry about it. Just put your acrylic on, let it dry, put your pattern on, with some graphite paper underneath, which helps to transfer the drawing onto the canvas, and then fill it in with your white, put your black in with your acrylic, a little yellow and orange for the beak, and we're ready to start. This is ultra smooth canvas. Let's come on down to the palette. Now I have a string of color down here. I've gone from black through, which is your darkest dark, through your middle tone, and into your light. Now, every painting is made up of these three tones. And let me sort of separate it into three. This is 1, 2, 3. Remember, every painting has a dark, it has a middle tone, it has a light, and then over here, which we're not going to show, would be your pure white, which would be a highlight. But mainly, you want to play around right in the middle tone, right about in here. So let's take a little of this middle tone and we'll test it. Now it might be it's too light or it might be too dark. Who knows? We don't know until we get up on our good old swan and we test our color. Well, now that's not too bad. Now our gray, I'm going to put my glasses on here because I'm blind without them. And I'm going to put my gray on. Now I'm using my little pointed sable. Notice how I wiggle the brush around. Coming on down to the swan's little cheeky, and around in here. Now, the gray will hold the whole painting together. So we get all this good gray going first. And you notice I just kind of wiggle the brush. Now, it's sort of getting, can you see it's sort of dry brushy. So I'm going to reach for that good old medium, pick up a little bit of that middle tone color, and put that on. Yeah, see, that medium helps it to spread. And on it goes. Now inside, or a mixture that goes with this gray, because we have so much purple around here, we're going to take a little bit of our royal mauve, maybe a little touch of that gray, middle tone gray, and we'll put that with it, and this will just help tie, because you see some of this color, I want to get a little more of that mauve, some of this color would be reflected, there it is, up into and on the swan. Now right here on the neck, to separate the neck from the body, I'm going to creep on up to my extra little dark with my sable, and I roll the brush to get that nice point on it. I'm going to come in here. Maybe there's a little shadow that's being cast from that neck. Now I'm going to take and wipe my brush, pick up a little bit of that mauve and that good old middle tone, and come on up here. Whoop, not dark enough. I'm going to come in a little bit darker because I wanted to go a little bit darker in this area. So let's test it. There it is, and up it goes. Now it's a shade darker right on top of that middle tone color I put in. I'm going to take some of that darker value and come in here, hit it again. Way around here, it gets darker again around this area. Ooh, if you come into the dark or into the background, just wipe it back because the background is dry. Coming in, and there's a hint of a little wing that's going to go in here, and maybe a little dark in here. Maybe that shadow comes out a little bit more. Maybe we have a little bit of that in here. I know it looks rough, and it should, because it's just the lay-in. Now we're going to take our mauve and our middle tone and work from photos, you guys, as much as you can. Photos really are helpful. Catherine and I, we used to live in an area that had a little pond, and we used to go down and watch the swans gracefully. They're so graceful. They just seem to float along. But I just know underneath their legs are going 100 miles an hour. But it's very restful just to sit there and watch them. Or sit there and sketch them with a sketchbook. Yeah, what do we have up here? Maybe, whoop, just a hint. Oh, that's more than a hint. That's a dark. Get that in. Now we're going to take some white. I use ink white because I'm cleaning my brush. I use ink white because it is the whitest white. And we're going to go down here and sort of work that into that gray. Now you don't have to smooth it out entirely, but leave a little bit of texture. Cleaning the brush again, picking up more white. This is titanium white. Titanium. Beautiful white. And in here, softening it up. Looks like I left. No, you can use your finger. Look. Just get it in there and move it around a little bit. I'm going to bring that down in. Don't smooth it all out. You can see that doing this swan is pretty easy. Taking a little more of that titanium. Up here, we're going to work that in. Sometimes you work the gray up. And don't rush the brush, guys. Take your time with it. Now he's starting to shape up. Don't expect the swan to be there right away. Everybody is so impatient. They say, oh, I want to put a few strokes on. And I want it to be there. Well, that won't happen. Let's take this. I'm going to borrow some of that gray and just push it on over. We'll spend a lot of time on this old swan, getting him squared away. And I'm going to take a little more white. And again, the white sort of tapers out into nothing. And I'm going to wipe the brush back and forth and soften that in. Soft. Yeah. Looks like some of that gray comes way over here. Make sure you soften it. You don't want a bunch of hard edges. You can have a little bit of a hard edge here and there, but don't have it all over. Otherwise, the old swan gets hard looking. Yeah. So we keep hitting it, little tail feathers are coming out. Now we're going to take some aqua blue and white. Yeah, aqua, nice cool color. Mix it with our white. And we'll put some of that in here. See, some of that nice, cool, reflected light bouncing around. Cool. Yes, you see how it's coming? Let's take a little bit of that mauve, royal mauve, touch of our gray. Remember to take photographs as much as you can and work from the real thing. In order to set this guy down, I'm going to clean the brush. Let's pick up some mauve, a touch of black, royal mauve, touch of black, and go underneath him. Now what this does, you can see it's going to set him down. So he's sitting on top of the water and not just floating around. Now that's a pretty strong dark, I know. I'm going to clean my brush and dry it. This is important. Blending one color into the other is very important, and I'm using the good old round brush. We're going to come up here and soften that shadow because some of that shadow would be reflected on up. Now what we're doing is we're tying the swan, nailing the old swan down so he doesn't float above the water. And here I am, I'm going to scrubbing back and forth. I want to pick up. Sometimes you can use our thinner instead of just medium. I'm going to take some thinner. Now the thinner, you can use that when you want an area to set up faster. If you want it to stay wet longer, you would simply use the medium. And coming out to maybe some little darks out here. Yes, but I think we should reflect a little more of that mauve. Take a little touch of medium mauve. And very thin. It is the consistency of a watercolor. And maybe just hit that. You could actually let your swan dry up a little bit and then glaze on top. I just don't have the time. But he's not looking too shabby. Right in here, we're going to take a little more dark. And I want to get that just a little bit darker, which is going to accent that neck a little bit more. I'm wiping the brush on the towel. Now we can't just leave it like that, so we have to, just using the tip of the brush, I'm working it back and forth, blending it over. Some of that gray comes on over here. And we sort of might have missed some of that dark separating the neck from the body, so we'll put a little there. Sometimes you put it in, and it goes bye-bye. Then you have to go and put it in again, and it goes bye-bye. So it's back and forth, back and forth. Okay, I'm just checking it out, make sure I didn't leave anything out there. Let's take a little white and get a little sparkle. Ah, yes. This is what makes the painting really neat. It's putting these little sparkles in the water. You see it? And I'm going to take a filbert brush. Let's come down. You guys know what a filbert brush is. It's the brush with the rounded corners. I'm going to take that up here and use it as a blending brush to blend some of this out. Just sort of hit it so it's not so hard looking. It looks a little hard looking. Sometimes instead of moving it, you would simply just go in and out, just sort of hit it. See? Of course, you take your time and hit it. And the more you hit it, here I'm kind of pulling in, the more you hit it, the more it's going to blend. Many times you could wait for the old swan to dry up, or not dry, but tack up, so you can get even more of a blending. But don't see right in here, I like that little edge right there where it's kind of showing some texture. It gives you the feeling of feathers coming in. I'm going to take my white and come in here and just sort of hit it. Maybe what I want to do is let's come down and take our white. Let's take just a touch of orange with the white. Orange. And what this does, it warms that white up. I'm going to take that up here. Now, it might not show too much for you guys, but I tell you, it does make a difference. And a little touch right in here. And a touch up here. Okay. All right. Now you can see I spend most of our time doing the old swan. I want to make sure I get a little more reflected light because it's so important to get this in. But remember, it'll be in the book for you guys. Not this one, but the one I'm working from because it has so much more in it. All this does is get you started. Look at this. Boom. I take my finger, hit the white, and pull it down. Hit the white, pull it down. Yes. Yes. Finger's great. Fingers are free. And we're going to put some back in here. Put it in, pull it down. Put it in, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. And even go across like that. And you'll use your brush or your finger like a blending brush. Now we have, oh, you know what? I want to come way up here because when we start that long grass going, I won't be able to get a lot of this stuff in. I know when you first put it on, it looks hard. Just take that finger. Remember, I have that medium on here, which is helping the paint to blend in. But look at that, how I have a feeling of just kind of a ripple. Down on that swan, if we wanted to, maybe he was making a little ripple. You see how you can come out this way? Look. You see? You see? Now that's a little hard looking, I know. Get the old finger in there. And pull right through it. So it just looks like a hint. Let's get some grass going. Woohoo! Or we'll run out of time and we'll have no grass around our swan. This is a liner brush. It's a liner, it's a twiggy, it's called. I call it the brush with the long hair. We're going to just come in here and pick up some foliage green dark and a little sienna. And you use this very, very wet. I'm going to come up. Oh, yeah. Now, look, you get your whole arm in it. Watch this come up, push down, and maybe another little curve coming down. Now, this painting is full of grass. I want it to look like we were just walking along the pond, and all of a sudden, there appeared this swan just gliding by. We have some grass down here, and I start with the dark. And we're going to come through and kind of hide him back in there a little bit. I'm going to take, now when you're doing this, use the odorless thinner, not the medium. Why? Because the odorless thinner is thinner than the medium. It's not as heavy based. So you'll get a thinner line. Lots. And they all have a slight curve. Yes, into the thinner. Maybe at variance. You can go from foliage green dark to sienna, foliage green light and sienna. And I'm going to get some more up in here. Nice. Now some of these will bend the other way. Some of them will run right up off the top, right, boom. And the whole arm. Let me show you. When you're painting, don't just paint like this with your hand going. But when you're painting this tall grass, the whole arm, actually your whole body is into that stroke, and it's feeling that grass reach up and around. Yes, you have to be in tune with your painting. Don't just paint like there's some sort of a barrier between you and what's happening. Let's take some yellow and our aqua blue. We'll make this really, really beautiful pale green, and it's very, very soupy. And we'll take that and go in. Whoa, hello. Oh, honey. I know this is pretty light, but you're going to put this on. We're going to have some coming down here. I might not get everything in, guys, but it'll be in the book for you to refer to. Now, we're going to come in, and you have to get a variety of grass. You have some coming up and bending around and coming back down. You could spend hours and hours and hours putting in all this wonderful grass. we're going to take a little more of that yellow, maybe a little more yellow than blue. And right in here, we want a shot of beautiful light coming out of here. Yeah, yes, 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 yes. Put it in, put it in. Now, we're going to be mixing. We have, let's take some orange, maybe a touch of cat red light. And we're going to put some of that in here. Look at that bright going in. Yes, yes. And then we're going to take our dark and come in with our dark over here where we have our lights and start throwing grass in there. We want our grass to look dense. We go in with lights, and then we'll go in with darks on top, and right up from the bottom, and let it blend into the dark, nice dark strokes. And another one here. We have some coming up here. Coming up, maybe one comes up and bends down. Comes up and bends down. Not too many of those bend down ones. And in order, we want that dark to flow, to blend in on the bottom. So it's a little light on top. Some of it can be coming out. Maybe a little, you see how you can put it in? And a little shadow. Put it in and a little shadow. Yeah. Way on the bottom where it's really rough, we'll take and tie into that. Mm-hmm. And get that brush going. Don't paint slow, paint fast. Paint faster than you think you can think. Paint, 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 paint. Don't think too much about it. The mind is a wonderful instrument. It'll do stuff you don't even realize. Just get that brush loaded up and throw it in. Okay, then we can take a little bit of our green and sienna. And right in here, maybe we have just a hint of some leaves going in. See? Adds a little variety. Keep it loose and free because we want all of our attention to be on. I'm just reaching for some foliage green dark to be on that swan. So we'll just kind of hit it, blend it in, blend it in, blend it in, blend it in. And you work the whole thing over. Let's get over here, foliage green dark, and a little of that going in here. So there's a lot more grass in here. I really don't have time to get everything in for you, but you can refer to the book. It'll be in there. Maybe some of these really thick guys going in. Maybe another one coming up here and coming down. Some of them are really just kind of there. They're just very transparent. And being transparent, how do you get it transparent? You put a little more medium or a little more of your odorless thinner with it. By the way, I wanted to show you a painting that's done by Catherine. And it's a swan painting, and it's a little bit different, and here it is. Don't you love it? Look at that painting up there, and she's got the little flowers down here, and the little lily pads coming in here. Nice, beautiful highlights. Look at that highlight. Look at that swan. Look at the curve. And what this does, your eye hits the curve and comes around, hits the flower, comes back up, so your eye stays right in the painting and doesn't run off. This is very important compositional thing she has going here. Watch it. Comes around. You notice the angle of the lilies pods? They come this way. They hit that flower. That flower is right straight up. So it's your eye will stay right in on this canvas and not move off to somebody else's canvas. Look at that close-up. Isn't that beautiful? Look at the star she has in there. Woohoo! Surprise, surprise. Oh, there's another star over there. She sort of sneaks them in here and there. Okay, how are we doing here? I think that's not too bad. Cad red light and orange. And we might just throw just kind of a hint of color down in here where maybe the leaves have dropped and they're turning color a little bit. Very dry, just so it sits in there. All right, and we have a nice gold leaf frame on our original. If you look at the original painting, it has a nice gold leaf frame with a nice black liner on it. This is the finished painting. Get all this good and wonderful stuff in there. I didn't have time for you guys, but there's also some highlights on the top. Well, there you are. Let's paint swans till we drop, guys. And I just love to paint swans. They're so serene, and they just sort of paddle along, and they're not bothering anybody. I love to watch them with their little babies, and their babies are all following behind. Well, get those paints out, get those photographs out, and let's go swan nutty. Thanks for watching out there. And don't forget, let's stop and sit and let's watch some swans. Take care out there, and I'll see you next time.
Het derde boek van Gary Jenkins is uit, boordevol prachtige bloemen en rozen. Nieuw in deze uitgave zijn de exotische vogels en vissen. U heeft deze derde editie al in huis voor slechts €34,50. Of bestel de prachtige Jenkins DVD voor dezelfde prijs. Bestel snel en maak uw serie Jenkins boeken compleet. Kijk voor bestelinformatie op omroepmax.nl of op teletextpagina 330.